Well, the biggest misconception about anti-aging is that there's, a magic bullet, so to speak, that Ponce de Leon really did find the fountain of youth. And that if you just go to the fountain of youth or drink the elixir or take this pill, everything changes. And that's not the case. This is a science. It is very precise with the things that we do to help slow the pace of aging, to add literally years to a person's life. So there's no one magic elixir. However, what I think I see a lot is medical spas, aesthetics, come in, this laser treatment's going to take off 5 years or whatever. Well, sure, there's a lot of effective things that can be done from an aesthetic standpoint and that we do, like PRP, using exosomes for facial rejuvenation, collagen growth, reducing fine lines, wrinkles, pigment, hair growth. There's many things that I do to help with that. But the foundation is establishing youthful hormone levels. And without that, it's really a fruitless endeavor. We really aren't going to get where people want to get, which is slow down the pace of aging, look better, feel better. And so we start with extensive testing, comprehensive hormone panels. I want to look at everything, biologic age testing, telomere length testing, DNA methylation, micronutrient testing, fit gut testing. What foods are we eating that are inflammatory? And that's another huge topic, is the poisons that we ingest every day in the name of good health that we don't even realize, the amounts of glyphosate, Roundup, herbicides in the foods that we eat. You can't even walk down the cereal aisle at a grocery store without absorbing it through your skin. I mean, it's in everything made with grain, unless they're ancient grains. Just being whole grain and natural doesn't count. And many organic products aren't as pure as they should be. So there really is a deep dive into everything around a person's life. What have we done to get where we are today? What can we do to slow the pace of aging, to extend longevity, from senolytic therapy like rapamycin, quercetin, and dasatinib, things that help rid the body of zombie cells, if you will, because there's many studies that have shown that, yes, that does help. We do something here with almost all new patients, and it's part of our ultimate Aspen experience. That's high dose EBO2, high dose ozone blood purification. It's not like just a conventional ozone treatment, which has many benefits, but this is where we take 5 to 7 liters of blood. It first goes through an actual dialysis filter, removing heavy metals, toxins, mycotoxins, viral particles, bacteria. It's amazing. And then it's supercharged with ozone, further sterilized, going through a machine with 4 wavelengths of UV light to further sterilize the blood. And literally, I used to laugh about it when I first heard that. I'm like, what are you talking about? My blood is sterile, or I'd be septic or dead. Well, it's not, and we now do all the testing to confirm that and see the amount of toxins, mycotoxins, fungal particles that literally make us sick on a daily basis. So that's a long-winded answer to that question of, what misconceptions out there. The misconception is there's one pill, one thing we can do. And the reality is, no, it's lifestyle, it's diet, it's organic eating, it's educating yourself on how to better care for yourself without listening to what's in the mass media or what's advertised on the shelves of your grocery store. Once you leave the organic vegetable section, it's like, help, you're immediately bombarded with toxins. It's really scary. And the worst is probably the aisle with the bread grains, and cereals. I'm real excited about Bobby Kennedy Jr. and the Department of, making America healthy again, because what's happened in the United States in the last 30 plus years, really 40, is criminal. The poisons and toxins that are not allowed in foods anywhere in Europe. Why do people, we were going to talk about blue zones, why do people live longer in blue zones? They have a simple life. They enjoy red wine daily, and they eat healthy organic foods that they raise themselves. And it's not on the shelf and the counter, and they're not getting glyphosate and herbicides. It's really, when you stop and think about it, it's actually pretty simple. But in the name of better production, and I don't even know what to call it, we've just been had the wool pulled over our eyes, so to speak. And it's time for that to change. You can change it with what you do for your family, what you buy and where you shop, and how you then address, the many things that are multi-layered with anti-aging and longevity. So, aging is not just about aesthetics and our appearance. It's what we see when we wake up in the morning and what we look at. And I just had this conversation this weekend. Was like, hey, things look a little different in the mirror than they did 5 years ago. But you know what? I've been addressing this for 22 years. I started balancing testosterone levels, DHEA, growth hormone 22 years ago. And it affects how you look. You have to be healthy from the inside out, starting with your hormone levels, having youthful hormone levels. There are many studies that show how significant the reduction in all-cause mortality is, from breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, all forms of cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease. As we maintain optimal hormone levels, those risk factors are decreased significantly. And I just had someone in my office this morning who is now going to join our concierge health program because she can't find a family practitioner. She actually saw someone that is shocking to me, a new grad, and not right here in Aspen, but very close, within 30 minutes away, that told her, as long as you're using those pellet things and taking hormones, I can't see you, because, well, everything that she said was wrong. They're not consistent. Your risk of disease is higher. And that is it's an absolute lie. There is plenty of literature to show that natural bioidentical hormones are safe, that they reduce the incidence of Alzheimer's, heart disease, and female patients, men as well. And so we want to balance all those hormones at a young age. And I've said in previous podcasts that this isn't something that happens at menopause. This starts 20 years before menopause for many of the women that I take care of. A little progesterone and a little testosterone can go a long way in improving the way that you feel, look, and interact with your family. So the exciting form of therapy that we use now is called pellet therapy. It was actually invented over 20 years ago by Dr. Gino Tutera. I trained with him at one point. He was in Arizona. There are other companies. A friend of mine out of Dallas with BioT, Gary Donovan, has pellet company I'm using now. I'm very excited about Terry Deneu's program with Avexius, where they've actually developed some new devices to lay the pellets in a way, particularly with men, where we have to use a lot more instead of them being clumped up in a ball at the top of your hip pocket. They're kind of spread out in the love handles, and they absorb better. They're very comfortable. There's very little discomfort when we put those in, but they are very consistent. They dissolve over time, on average 5 to 6 months for men, and about every 3 to 4 months for women. And so we get very consistent blood levels. It's based on your cardiac output. the more blood flow to that area where these little tic tacs are, or pellets as we call them, but literally they're a little tic tac. And the estradiol, some of them are so tiny, it's hard to pick them up with a forceps to place them in the trocar that we use to put them in under the skin. And so they work extremely well and produce the best blood levels. I use a lot of different things, from sublingual lozenges to some creams, but pellet therapy really is my favorite because it's very precise and we get the best blood levels for the longest period of time. So if someone hears that, oh, well, those they just don't work right, well, they're just not informed, and they certainly have no experience with it, because they do. And I've done many hundreds of patients, hundreds and thousands of patients. The easiest way to reach us is just to click on the link at the bottom of this episode. Go to aspen-regenerativemedicine.com. You can look at all the different things that we do there, from a week-long, deeply intensive anti-aging makeover program I call the Ultimate Aspen Experience, to just natural bioidentical hormone therapy for men and women. And give us a call. We'll send you to a LabCorp anywhere in America, get your blood work done. It takes about 7 days to get that back. And then we do a telemedicine visit, kind of like the conversation we're having right now. Look things over and make a plan to get together. And then, I follow up with people all over the world via telemedicine. So, just because you don't live in Aspen doesn't mean that you can't benefit from this program and working together with us.